Have you noticed the fear about AI lately? It's getting a little ridiculous. I have videos running through my feed right now, like nightmare scenarios of authors getting their publishing contracts canceled, of the mobs coming after authors for the use of AI or the suspected use of AI, even if the AI was only used in the editing process or the research process and not in the writing process at all. But these AI detection software programs are notoriously bad at detecting AI because they were trained on human books. So like they don't know anything but human books, and they can't come up with anything unique on their own, so everything seems like it came from AI if AI just stole all their works from humans. It's absurd and ridiculous, and authors really need to start lawyering up if they can afford to. Obviously, maybe they have a lawyer for other reasons, but it would be a really good idea to get a lawyer and go after these people for defamation of character, because it's absurd. And I know most authors have receipts, like they can prove that they have older drafts of their book, but it doesn't always matter to publishing companies now. If there's even the suspicion of AI, they're going to cancel the book contract. I mean, it's happening. It's literally happening right now. It's a bit absurd. And same thing with Amazon. They have an AI program that actually looks through your book before publishing, and if it suspects that the book has been published before in any form, then it can take down your entire author account. It's wild what's happening right now. It's almost like the new era of censorship is faulty AI programs. Faulty AI detection programs, really. It's AI detecting AI, and it's notoriously bad at doing. I'm a part of a local nonprofit called Roswell Night Skies, and we bring free community events to Roswell, New Mexico. And we are a very small group of people. We don't have a lot of time. We work other jobs. And our board president came up with this really nice poster about our next event, which is going to be a Thrill the World dance event. It's going to be an all-day event. We're going to have vendors and food trucks and dancing, and we're going to have like salsa contests, and we're gonna have a jalapeno eating contest, just all kinds of fun stuff going on. And he put together a poster using Adobe Illustrator and whatever. He might have used AI elements. I know he used probably some official logo, because the Thrill the World dance is an international event, and that's what it is. It's the Thrill the World dance. So those were probably some official logos also, because we're taking part in an international event. And I was a little surprised at some of the fear of people accusing us of using AI in our poster, and how they're just so sick of AI use. And I'm thinking, so it doesn't matter that we're bringing a free event to Roswell, that before the era of AI, somebody would have just used stock photos and just like jammed them all together on a poster, because you know, the people who run these nonprofits, we don't have either the time to create our own wonderful artwork, you know, hand drawn or hand painted or whatever it is that you imagine that we're going to do. And we don't have the money to hire an official artist. I mean, if you want to donate your time or your money for an official artist, but sometimes you just have to get the job done, and you make a nice looking poster that gives you all the information about event, all the relevant, the time, the place, what's happening, and it has some really cute pictures on it, and all of a sudden there's this fear about AI. I thought it was bizarre, but to me, because we have not gotten that kind of backlash before, it really shows the zeitgeist right now, and how people are reacting against AI. So I thought that I would just completely talk about something else, because who wants to hear about AI all the time? I mean, I don't. So I thought I would share the local actually print books that I have purchased over the summer, either at a garage sale or at the Galacticon Fest, which happens in conjunction with the local Alien Fest or UFO Fest. I get those confused. There used to be two different ones. Now there's only one. But anyway, whatever happened that 4th of July weekend, I bought a couple of books of local authors, and I also found some nice garage sale books. So I'm going to just share these books with you. Maybe you'll be interested, maybe you won't. So one book that I purchased recently, I was perusing. I was at the Altar and Rosary Garage. I was working there at the Altar and Rosary Garage sale, but I was taking a break and looking through the books that we had when we had a lull of customers. And the Altar and Rosary Garage sale, by the way, happens at Assumption Catholic Church. It's something that happens every year, and the next one will be next August. So you missed it this year, but it's always great. We have a lot of items donated that we sell. But we had a whole bunch of books, and I said to a lady that was there, I said, if you find, who was looking through the books, I said, if you find anything that looks like a mystery, let me know and I'll buy it, because right now, even though I used to read a lot of different types of books like travel memoirs and biographies and autobiographies and science fiction and mysteries also, but those used to be my favorites. But now I've just really gotten into, I just want to read mysteries all the time. I don't know why. I guess I'm just getting to the point where there's just a delusion. There's just too much going on around me, and I want to just, at the end of the day, I want to just read a nice mystery. Most of them are cozy mysteries. Not all of them are cozies, but I do like that. Now, me personally, I write. I guess my mysteries are a little cozy, but they're really more like a mix of supernatural ghost story meets murder mystery meets comedy. And it is a genre. I've read books like that, so any book of that genre I will read. But so the lady, she's like, oh, look, I found a mystery right here. And so this is what she came up with. The Mystery of the Haunted Hut. Okay, so we've got some maybe supernatural elements in this old kid's book from 1950. I think it was the publication date. And I said, that looks like fun. So I read that fairly quickly. Obviously, it's a kid's book. It went very quickly. I loved this book. It was so good. And here it's like 103 degrees out, and I'm reading this book about these kids who are it's winter, and it's up north, so they're up where there's lots of snow. And of course, in 1950, they were like in this small village up north. And what is so neat about reading these books that kind of bring up this feeling of nostalgia. I grew up in the 80s, so I guess it's mostly nostalgic in the kind of books I was reading, because this world was pretty much gone by the time by the time my childhood came around. But I love it because it's like this village where there's a train and a train station, and the train station brings the mail, and that's like the biggest event every day, is when the train rolls in and brings the mail. And then the post office is also connected with the little store, the Mercantile, which sells all kinds of exciting things, from clothing to winter wear, work clothing, to candy and goods like flour and crackers and things like that. So that's kind of a world that is gone now. Like, I guess you find that sometimes in small villages, but it's been replaced by the Allsups at the gas station, where they'll have the staple things. They'll have like automotive items that they sell, and they'll sell loaves of bread and things of milk, and obviously candy bars and stuff like that. But I guess that's like a modern day Mercantile, is the gas station general store, like an Allsups. Anyway, I really enjoyed this book. Obviously in kids' books, it's never really a ghost. It's always something else happening. And in this case, to give it away, you're probably not going to read this book, but it was a counterfeiters. Counterfeiters that had a trap door in the floor of this old hut that nobody lived in anymore, and they were counterfeiting money down in the basement, and of course the kids discovered it. So that was a really cute book. But I also learned a lot about ice boating and other interesting You know, like I live in New Mexico. Where would you go ice boating in New Mexico? You wouldn't. So this is kind of a neat thing to read about people ice boating. It sounds fun because apparently you can go really, really, really fast because, you know, it's on ice and there's nothing really, and it has a sail on it. So when, you know, the sail catches the wind and boy, that it glides across the ice. It sounds a lot of fun. You know, I'd like to go ice boating someday. Maybe that should be on my bucket list before I, you know, get too old to do exciting, fun things like that. Anyway, that was a great find, but it's not a local author. Neither is this. I got this. I haven't read it yet. It's called Silent Slaughter, and C.E. Lawrence, Pulse Racing, Compelling First Rate. I don't know. I haven't really read C.E. Lawrence. I just thought since it was a garage sale, it cost 25 cents. So, you know, how can you go wrong with that? And then I also got this. Because it was, the garage sale was at a Catholic church. There were quite a few Catholic books, a lot of which I'd already read, but I thought this was interesting. Monuments, Marvels, and Miracles, A Traveler's Guide to Catholic America. So you could take a trip and visit all the amazing Catholic sites in America. And I don't know, by America, I assume they mean the United States, but there's plenty down in Mexico, and I'm sure up in Canada too. Haven't really read that much about Canada and maybe apparitions or, you know, cool old churches, but I'm sure they have them, especially they probably have quite a few tourist spots in maybe Quebec. Okay, what else do we have? Oh, this is a local author. Her name is Anne Applegarth, and it's a book of poems that she wrote. Anne Applegarth is somebody, she's an older lady, and I have only talked to her on the phone, but she seems like a very sweet lady, and it's a really neat book of poems. So I did pick that up. Okay, and now I'm going to, but this is an older book, so this was published in, oh, not that old really, 2020. It was published in 2020, so not really that old, but still not like brand new. Anyway, so now to get to the books that by local authors that I bought, that where I actually went to the Galacticon and met the authors and had them sign my books. So the first one I'm going to highlight is New Mexico Monsters, and it is by author John LeMay with illustrations by Chris Casey. Now, they're both Roswellians. They both live here in Roswell. What I really like about this book is that it's a really useful for me for the kind of stuff that I write, because I write supernatural, you know, ghost stories, and also, you know, the alien books, and I had written some short stories about Sasquatches and stuff. I was writing these kind of short stories on my blog a long time ago. Some of my stories made it into my book of short stories, The Jaybird's Nest and Other Stories, and not all of them did, but I did write one about some Sasquatches, a Sasquatch family in New Mexico. So this book was just really right down my alley, and, you know, local artist, local author, and then he signed it. I'll show you that. He says, Jill, watch out for New Mexico Monsters. Oh, I will. Okay, and then if you go to the back, you see that he's got notes, you know, his end notes, which is nice. Everything is nicely documented here with his end notes, and then he's got a bibliography. So this is just like a really great work here, where he's got a bibliography, end notes, and then this is what I really like. So if you can think of a monster or a place where you might want to learn about monsters, it has an index, so you can look up these things. So this is what is most exciting to me about this particular book, is that you can look things up in the back. So let's see. If I wanted to look up, let's see if there's, okay, so Roswell, New Mexico. Oh gosh, there's a whole bunch of pages for Roswell. You can see that, a whole bunch of pages for Roswell, New Mexico. But let's look up, okay, so let's look up Roswell rods. I don't really know what that is, but we're going to find out. So Roswell rods is on page 139 to 142. So this is going to be really neat. I can just tell right off the bat. Okay. The Roswell rods, or Midway's mid-air monsters. What? Mid-air monsters? It couldn't be more appropriate that a tiny alien cryptid was discovered in a small rural community just outside of Roswell. The place is called Midway because it's located midway between Roswell and the farming community of Dexter. Known alternatively as either skyfish or simply rods, these insect-like creatures were caught on camera for the first time in 1994 by Jose Escamilla, who was shooting a documentary in Midway. Notably, this occurred before the Roswell UFO incident was embedded in the public consciousness to the extent that it is today, 3 years prior to the 50th anniversary festival that put it on the map. Escamilla was himself born in Roswell. He won a talent contest that garnered him an appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1967 and had a career as a singer-songwriter throughout the 1960s and 1970s. In the 1980s, he transitioned to filmmaking. Escamilla was living in California when the Northridge earthquake destroyed his film studio in early 1994, and he relocated back to Roswell, more specifically to Midway. Okay, I'm not going to read you anymore, obviously. You know, it's a copyrighted book. But, wow! Did you even know? I'm going to show you a picture of these Roswell rods. Wow! So this book, I mean, I think that it's really worth the price of it if you are into cryptids and monsters. I think that you should buy it. I mean, I just literally was flipping through and saw Sasquatches. Yeah, this book is a really great resource, and I know a lot of people in from my sci-fi community who would really love a book like this. And so I recommend it, and it's really neat. Like the index is really worth the price because this guy spent a lot of time putting this index together. And so, yeah, John LeMay, go look him up. He's a local Roswell author. He's also written a bunch of other books, and it was really hard. I don't want to spend like all my money on books, but I could unfortunately be that person who does that. But he has also, let's see, he's also written Haunted Lincoln County, New Mexico, the New Mexico Book of Witches, Cowboys, and Saurians, Dinosaurs and Prehistoric Beasts as Seen by the Pioneers, and the Real Cowboys and Aliens series, co-authored with ufologist No Torres, detailing UFO sightings in the Old West. Okay. LeMay has also authored 3 Western novels utilizing the folklore of New Mexico, the noted desperado Pancho Dumas, Once Upon a Time in Fort Sumner, and Billy the Kid and the Ballad of the Boy Bandit King. LeMay is a past president of the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico in Roswell and currently serves on the board for the Historical Society of New Mexico. So I am probably going to go buy. I really like this book. I like it enough that I haven't read the whole thing because to me it's like you look something up and then you read that excerpt, and so you don't have to read it from cover to cover. Although it is short, so you could read it to cover if you so chose to do so. I'm going to buy his other books because I think it's worth it, and he is a local author, and we should all be supporting our local authors. Yeah, myself included. If you happen to be in Roswell, then you're local to me. Oh, if you happen to be in New Mexico or the Southwest, you're local to me. Okay, so I also got this book. It's called My Invisible Friends, an inspirational true story of a quirky soul's journey by Mariselena Manchego. Yeah, kind of tripped over her name there, but yeah, she's got this big, beautiful name. Okay, and so she also signed my copy, and it says, oh boy, her handwriting's hard to read. Beloved Jill, thank you for being perfectly you. Isn't that sweet? I love that. Anyway, My Invisible Friend. So She writes about her invisible friend, obviously, or invisible friends, an inspirational true story of a quirky soul's journey. And it's actually really interesting. I do recommend it. Both of these are, obviously nonfiction. This one is of a spiritual nature. This one is of more of a supernatural. Well, I mean, I guess that they're both kind of supernatural, but this one is dealing more with cryptids and monsters, and this one more with like a different type of spiritual journey. Anyway, so yes, this is really good. And if you want to know, yes, I'm covering my face. If you want to know more about her, this is what her little biography says on the back cover, and you can actually see she's got a picture of herself on the back. From motorcycles to massage, fiddle to finger cymbals, Madasalena's passions lead her down a colorful road of community and compassion. In addition to the above mentioned, she also loves sharing the International Tai Chi for Health Institute's programs wherever she hangs her hat. In these days, it is Roswell and Ruidoso Mountain area. So yeah, and she's actually got a website, www.quantumlumen.com. And I assume this guy has a website too, although I didn't specifically see that in here, but there is www.historypress.com, which is obviously the press that printed this book, but I don't know if the author's website, did it say? I don't think so. But yeah, I'm sure you can find him online, and you can find, I'm sure, his books on Amazon too, so I'm going to go look him up and buy his other books because I think it's worth it. And honestly, I love to have print books, and now that I have some little reading lamps, as you can see with my dragonfly, my brain just stopped functioning there for a second, dragonfly lamp behind me, and so that I can now turn it on and have the dragonflies shine as I read my books. And obviously that one too. I don't know what it is with me and dragonflies. I don't think anybody really knows, but they are angels, I think. So they fit into my category of maybe New Mexico cryptids, except the scientists would probably disagree with me on that, but they're welcome to disagree. So my question is, do you have the same kind of fear about AI that other people have? What are you doing about it? Are you reading print books? Are you buying print books? Are you reading your local authors? Are you supporting them? Are you supporting your local nonprofits that might be using AI on their posters because it's the easiest route to putting together an advertisement for their events? What are you doing? So you let me know what you think about the whole thing. Like, maybe you only read digital books. I don't know. I also read a ton of ebooks. I've got many. I'm also reading a mystery on my Kindle as well right now. Although, honestly, I couldn't tell you the name of the author because this is the first book that I bought by this author. I don't know if I'll buy another book by her. It really depends on where the book goes, because right now it is a murder mystery, but it's told in dual perspectives, and one of the perspectives, and she becomes kind of a detective, but she's clearly a psychopath, and she has no qualms about murdering people. And honestly, I don't want to be in the head of a psychopath. I just don't want to have to root for the psychopath, and it just makes me really uncomfortable. I want to be able to sympathize with the main character. So the other main character is the police detective, and her name is Mike, which is short for Michaela, but everybody calls her Mike. And so she is a sympathetic character, and I do like it, but I don't like being in the head of a psychopath. And I do believe the book is called Two Bodies Are Better Than One or something like that, because so far there's been 2 bodies that have been found, and I guess that's why it's called Two Bodies Are Better Than One. But like I said, I'm a little dubious about it. It's really interesting. It's a page turner. I don't have any problem on that level. I just don't like being in the head of a psychopath. I think that somebody with my nature, like, I don't know. I think maybe I'm maybe easy to manipulate. Well, I don't know. I shouldn't say that. I should especially not say that on camera, but I don't know. It's just like I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, but psychopaths are very cold and they can pretend to have empathy and they are very manipulative. And I think what they end up doing is having empathy appear so they can understand people not by their emotions, not the way they feel. They can't feel for other people, but they can figure out how people are feeling cognitively. And but that is also why they can manipulate people, because they don't have any feelings attached to it. So if you can understand how somebody is feeling or thinking on a cognitive level, then you can manipulate them, and you won't have any qualms about it if you don't really have, unless you have a moral base. Because I understand that not all psychopaths are evil. Some of them just have low or no feelings, and but they understand morality also in the same way they would have empathy and compassion, and it would be all in a cognizant, through their minds. But that's going on a completely different tangent. Obviously, the vast majority of the world is full of very emotional people, as you can see because of the witch hunts aimed at people who have been suspected of using AI. I mean, that's really just emotional, and trusting these AI programs. Maybe you think that's not emotional, maybe you think that's rational. Well, I did something rational, I put it through this program. Well, it's still not rational, because not if you consider it the source of these programs. But anyway, the vast majority of us are emotional thinkers, and we're not psychopaths, and so psychopaths are a bit uncomfortable for the vast majority of humans. We find them very uncomfortable. They're like aliens and living amongst us, except they're not, as far as I know, aliens. Although there are those theories floating out there that there's alien blood. If you have like the Rh negative, that's supposed to be alien blood, I think. I don't know. You'd have to go look it up for yourself. Go look it up. Do your own research. See if you might be part alien. Anyway, that is all I have to say today. I really do encourage you to buy my books, as I didn't use AI in the writing of them, and it's fairly obvious. I think AI would have streamlined my books a little bit more than I would have liked. If they tried to write like me, they would have probably streamlined it, and my writing isn't like that. My writing is it's a little crazy, comedic, ghost story, murder mystery, and it is a fairly complex, like magical realism. I have a strong magical realist influence in my writing. That sounds really boring when I say that, I know, but I think AI could copy magical realism, but maybe not all of the elements that just make my work uniquely me. So I can definitely say that I was talking about that author, this one who is a local Roswell author with a local Roswell artist on the cover. Well, same thing with me. I am a local Roswell artist. Author. This is a local Roswell artist, although she did move to Virginia. So sadly, because she's my friend and I would rather talk to her right here in person, but I think she's happy in Virginia. But she grew up in Roswell. So she's still local as far as I'm concerned. And also I had a local Roswell editor, and Leslie Anderson, and I think she did a great job editing. Yeah, and I think she also does marketing as well, marketing and editing, and she just does a little bit of everything. But yes, that's local. She's also local to Roswell, and yes, so no AI, no AI. The only AI I used in the process, which I kind of regret now, was to have AI give me a chapter summary, because I was so overwhelmed that I just needed an outside, somebody to put it in an outline for me so I could see what I really had. And I wish I hadn't, because now AI has my book in their database. And unfortunately, because of that, it could get accused of being AI at some point, because if AI scanned it and it's in the database, and now if somebody puts it in an AI program, maybe not immediately, but maybe someday, it will flag it as being AI because of that, because probably AI now has it in their system. And I did it. Like, I just thought that would be easy. I thought, I never used it. I never used Copilot at all when I was writing. I just ignored it. I ignored their annoying, like little pop-up things, asking if they could help me. And I'm like, no, AI, you cannot help me. I don't know why I call them they. It's like, I don't know, it's not really a he, she, it, or they, but I didn't want help. But then I thought, I wonder if it could summarize my book. And so, because it will ask you if it wants you to, if you want it, I don't know who's doing what to whom at this point, to summarize documents so that you don't have to actually read something, which really sucks, honestly, because, authors spend all this time researching and writing, and then somebody in like 30 seconds can have AI summarize their work, and they don't read it at all, and then they can pretend like they read it, and they can be all smug and whatever. But this is the way I shouldn't be mean about. But like, I love real readers, but people who do that, they usually do it so they can, pass a class in school, because they don't want to read anything. And I think it's sad, and it will definitely hurt them more than it will hurt the authors, honestly, because it will hurt their brains, because their brains are going to be lazy, and they will hardly be able to read a sentence by the time they're 80, because they haven't read any sentences. They've instead asked AI for help. AI isn't even always accurate. Now, I was the author of my book, so I knew that how accurate AI was, and it was really helpful to me at the time. But yeah, like I said, I regret it. But that's all I have to say about that. And I will hopefully see you next Sunday. Bye.